And then here comes Matt Hardy and did the promo as himself. And we were talking about this a week or two ago. He said he's going to start being himself. The one line, we listen to our audience. Apparently, a lot of people listen to this program also. They don't hear it sometimes, but they listen to it because they've taken some suggestions. But he said, the people want Matt Hardy to be Matt Hardy, and of course they do. They don't want him to teleport from ice machines or be 3,000 years old or whatever. They want Matt Hardy to be Matt Hardy. And he praised Private Party to close that little deal up. And then he started talking about Sammy Guevara, told him he had originally liked Sammy, but he needed to get away from Jericho, and Sammy wouldn't listen. So then he talked about Sammy Guevara coming out and attacking him from under the ring and making his reappearance after he was put in a timeout for being a bad boy on a podcast by the principal. Here's the problem I had with it. I love Matt Hardy by himself, and he did a good promo. Not by himself, Matt Hardy as himself, a real person. He did a good promo. Did you catch what they did with Sammy Guevara that just blew the whole fucking thing?
I'm not sure.
Matt Hardy is in the ring talking about Sammy Guevara, talking about how he came out from under the ring and attacked him before and how he's going to get even with it and he's not going to get away with it. And while Matt Hardy's in the ring with the floor camera on him, and they can cut back to the play-by-play camera, the handheld guy, the floor camera guy, handheld, same thing, standing in the ring, shooting Matt Hardy. They've got the play-by-play camera, which is the hard camera up on the locked position in the stands. They can shoot that. But for no reason, another handheld down on the floor was shooting the exact spot behind Matt Hardy and down below the ring that Sammy Guevara was going to come out of from under the ring in this instance. So as soon as he came out from under the fucking apron skirt, within 1 second, the camera, they already had the shot and they just switched to it. There was no reason for them to have a camera shot of that part of the ring for any other purpose than to see Sammy Guevara coming out from under it. So why did they know? And all you've got to goddamn do is just when Matt is ready for Sammy to come out, he gives the verbal cue about, Sammy, I don't care if there's one person in this whole arena or 10,000, and they go the wide shot to see it, I'm still going to kick you. And you see Sammy coming out from under the side of the ring in the background right then, because that's his verbal cue. And that's also the director's cue. And then they've got an excuse to whip a fucking handheld around real quick. My God, there's Sammy Guevara. And then he rolls in the ring and Matt says, I knew you'd come, and turns around and meets him. Boom. And it wouldn't have looked fucking staged, would it? But they can't fucking bother to put that much work into it. So then they get in a fucking fight. And Matt beats Sammy up on the floor, and he slams him through the table or into the table and hits him with this and that and the other thing. And then as Matt is setting up the table, he's going to apparently put Sammy through, when he's already slammed him on the fucking timekeeper's table anyway. But Sammy Guevara posts Matt from behind, boom, to stop him, and then goes over, and I don't know what the fuck. I've seen guys get potatoed and respond like this, but for no fucking blood coming from Sammy Guevara's face, no fucking bone broken, no injury that I could ascertain. Why he did this, I have no idea. He grabbed a chair and whipped it as hard and as fast as he possibly could straight into Matt Hardy's fucking face. There was no way to work that. And some idiot is going to say, well, it was one of those plastic chairs. It wasn't real heavy. You dumb fucking idiot. You don't throw anything that fast towards somebody's face that has shit sticking out of it and is an irregular fucking shape. It's got legs. It's got a back. You don't know how it's going to fucking twirl and spin, whatever the fuck. Was that the most irresponsible thing that you have? I don't know if ever, because I've seen a lot of things. That was one of the most irresponsible things I've ever seen in my life in a fucking match, anywhere.
I've never seen anything like that with a chair in wrestling.
And I don't know what is, I mean, I've seen a few being thrown by guys at fucking Marks that were trying to come in the ring. It looked like that, where they were really trying to hurt someone badly, quickly, and on purpose. But I've never seen one of the boys do that to somebody else. What? I don't know what. So the point is, naturally enough, Matt Hardy gets a fucking gash in his head that I guess they said on Twitter took 18 stitches to close. The pictures of it didn't look good. It looked like an axe wound. And then Sammy Guevara, while Matt is laying there and there's already a giant puddle of blood under his head while he's laying on the fucking... Well, first, when he took the chair, you can see him feel 2 or 3 times like, did this dumb motherfucker just fucking give me impromptu brain surgery? And then he's selling, and there's a puddle of blood under his head, and then Sammy Guevara comes off the stage and doesn't just splash him through the table, but has to do a fucking flip with a twist and a half gainer to put him through the table. So he's already busted his head open, and now he lands extra hard on him just to do that little cute little twist. I'm going to say this right now. When I heard what Sammy Guevara said on the podcast, if I'd have been the boss of the company, I'd have called him in the office. I said, what the fuck? That wasn't even a goddamn double entendre. That wasn't a fucking joke. You're a goddamn idiot, but it was 4 years ago and you're a goofy kid. So I'm going to fine you $1,000. I'm going to give it to the fucking women's shelter and just don't say anything else again. I wouldn't have suspended him or made him go through bullshit sensitivity training that does nothing for anybody. It just satisfies a requirement. And you're just madder once you go through it than you are at the start. If I'd have seen him throw that chair at Matt Hardy like that, I would have fucking suspended him for 6 months. That's something you suspend a motherfucker for. That was careless and reckless and unnecessary and dangerous and hurt a fucking veteran that's trying to get this kid over. So his fucking, I want to rape Sasha Banks, I'd have fined him and told him not to fucking say stupid shit again. For what he did there, I would have fucking suspended him if I didn't fucking fire him. I wouldn't fire him. I'd bring him back to get his ass beat. Then I might fire him. That was fucking ridiculous. So, glad to know we got our priorities in the right place. Guy says something stupid on a podcast 4 years ago. Let's suspend him for a month, cost him a lot of money, make him sit through a bunch of fucking classes that ain't going to teach him anything. Guy caves a fucking 30-year veteran's head in, causes him to bleed out on national TV. He can just apologize. Fuck, what the fuck is the matter with everybody anymore? No wonder I don't want to have anything to do with this shit. But meanwhile, well, wait, did you have any comments about Matt Hardy's attempted fucking prefrontal lobotomy at the hands of Sammy Guevara?
Well, I kind of addressed, I've never seen anyone use a chair like that. I thought Sammy did a pretty spectacular trick on the Matt Hardy on the table, but like I said, I've said it before, I just don't want to see Matt Hardy anymore. I'm done with Matt Hardy. There's nothing he can say or do that will interest me. I've seen it all. He's done it all. I don't care about this feud. I don't look forward to seeing this match.
There might be a receipt coming up. It might get interesting after this.
I just don't care. Matt Hardy was a big mistake as a signing.
I want to see Matt Hardy. I didn't want to see fucking Beatrice Arthur or Damascus or, the time traveling dude or whatever the fuck. And I hope it's not too late where people don't feel the same as you do and they want to see Matt Hardy because it's Matt Hardy instead of fucking whatever the foolishness. But did you notice this? Even when given an impromptu and unexpected gift, because let's face it, a babyface bleeding like that after an angle, wouldn't you have sent the doctor to ringside? Wouldn't you have called some audibles? Wouldn't you have said, hey, let's somebody go down and help him and maybe we'll get a stretcher and let's shoot some more of this blood? Because let's see it pumping out of his head, because that way all the people that think this is all bullshit will go, how the fuck did they do that? That's really coming out of his head. A cut like that, you can wipe it and it'll fucking start shooting and they'll see it. They'll see it looks like a gaping pussy on his forehead. Doctors and paramedic people with compresses and ice packs. And let's let the announcers walk over there and see what the fuck's going on. It's not like on this program, especially, we're not seeing anything really good at the expense of stopping down and making a big deal out of this. But I swear to fucking Christ, I don't even know if anybody had taken Matt Hardy's pulse yet or not before they cut away from Matt Hardy, a wrestling legend, bleeding to death to cover the destruction in the parking lot of the mid-card or preliminary babyface's mother's minivan.